will processor do? Okay, stops temporarily the execution, current execution, moves to the ISR, interrupt service routine. Once interrupt service routine is executed, then the normal program would be followed. Any issues here? What if two interrupts are available together? अगर दो इंटरप्ट एक साथ अवेलेबल होते हैं तो जो हायर प्रायोरिटी होगी वो इंटरप्ट एग्जीक्यूट होगा. What about the lowest priority? It will be pending, but it will be executed after the first interrupt. The highest priority interrupt is executed, or the ISR related to that interrupt is executed. Is it okay? Till here. What if a lowest priority interrupt that is RST 6.5 is available? एक प्रोग्राम चल रहा है तो आपने हार्डवेयर पिन पे एक इंटरप्ट दिया RST 6.5 और 5.5. चलो 5.5. Okay, what will it do? It will move to the processor will move to the ISR of RST 5.5. After completion, it will return to the normal program. But before the ISR of 5.5, sorry, RST 5.5 is over, if RST 6.5 is applied, then see, प्रोसेसर को आपने RST 5.5 पे enable high signal मिला. That means interrupt is enabled. Once the interrupt is enabled, ये जो normal program था, suppose यहाँ पे प्रोसेसर पहुंचा होगा while executing, and this interrupt was provided. It has moved to the ISR. Okay, it will execute ISR of 5.5 and return to here. But what if during this execution, consider this as a 4-step instruction or 4-step program. अगर second line या second instruction execution कर रहा था ISR का प्रोसेसर, तब यहाँ पे RST 6.5 was provided. Will the processor wait for ISR to be completed and written to the program and then execute the ISR of 5.5 or what? Sorry, 6.5 or what? क्या करेगा? Okay. What you saying is, it will complete this first, then will return to the program. We'll see, look for 6.5. It's available. Move to the ISR of 6.5, and then again return to the program. Is it okay? Any other views over here? Okay. अगर ट्रैप है तो यहाँ से स्टॉप हो जाएगा. स्टॉप होके क्या करेगा?
स्टॉप होके ट्रैप का जो एग्जीक्यूशन का वो होगा पहले, उसके बाद वहाँ से फिर से स्टार्ट होगा.
Okay, ISR of trap. The same applies to also RST 6.5 and other priority interrupts. Once it is executing the interrupt service routine of one of the interrupt, during execution, if any high priority interrupt is available to the processor, it will hold for a moment this and will execute the ISR of a high priority interrupt. Once it gets complete, then it will return here, then it will return here. Is it okay? Consider RST 5.5, RST 6.5. Now during execution of RST 6.5, यहाँ पे एक इंटरप्ट मिला RST 7.5. It will hold this execution and move to the ISR of RST 7.5. Any issues, anyone? Here, the processor is not trying to complete the ISR of the interrupt though it is of a lower priority. It looks after the priority of the interrupt. Even if the ISR of one interrupt was being executed, it was in the process. When the high priority interrupt is available, it will move to the high priority interrupt. I repeat, high priority interrupt is available. What if the processor at 7.5 there is another interrupt request of RST 5.5? चलो सोचो पहले ही यहाँ पे एक 7.5 था. It was executing the ISR of RST 7.5, and if RST 5.5 or 6.5, any of these were available, are these of high priority or low priority compared to RST 7.5? Low priority. So it will not worry on switching over to ISR. It will first complete the ISR of high priority interrupt, then move here and then execute this interrupt. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So priority is not only applicable when both the interrupts are available together. It is also applicable if the ISR of one of the interrupts is also being executed. Is it okay? यहाँ पे कुछ issue? Okay. Interfacing of 8 to 5, but this was something which I need to focus on, because 8 to 5 consists of 8 interrupts. 8 interrupts में IR0 to IR7 has the priority. IR0 is the highest priority, IR7 is the lowest priority. तो उसमें भी अगर IR0 available है, we'll discuss this. But यहाँ पे ये clear हो गया 100 interrupts.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? What about RST 5.5, 6.5, 7.5? Whether these are edge triggered or level triggered? Level triggered. What about 7.5? Edge triggered. Okay. 5.5 and 6.5 are level triggered, but 7.5 specifically is a edge triggered. What about trap? Both. What is the meaning of triggering? What is the meaning of triggering? Edge trigger, level trigger पता है, but triggering क्या है? Triggering means the event which makes the interrupt to be identified by the process. Okay? जब ये edge triggered यानी जब low से high transition होगा, it is said as the edge. Once the processor at that pin, if RST 7.5, let's take the case. If at the pin of RST 7.5 in the processor, if there is a signal which rises from 0 to 1, it will be considered as the interrupt is provided. Okay, it is edge triggering. Is it okay? Now, we discuss if other than the 5 hardware interrupts that we have, if number of interrupts for a process are more, number of hardware interrupts for a process are more, you have only 5 hardware interrupts. Consider you have 50 other interrupts. What will you do? Just parallel them. 5 है आपके पास, 10 एक में दे दो, चलेगा? चलेगा? Yes or no?
No.
No. Why no?
Because among those can also there will be many who have high priority.
Okay, चलो priority difference consider, और 10 का priority एक ही है. Then
So then
there may be a process change required based on interrupt. Okay, each interrupt would move to some different ISR. If you connect 10 interrupts in parallel, 10 hardware interrupts in parallel to a single pin, तो कोई भी interrupt होगा तो एक ही ISR पे जाएगा. That is something which you require. If it is serving your application, that's good. But in normal way, it will not serve the actual application. Is it okay? each interrupt needs its own ISR. For that, we require one circuit which is 8259. In the last year when I taught this in the lab, one person from your senior batch asked me this question. If I have multiple interrupts, if I connect these in parallel, my purpose is solved, no? But it makes a difference over here. Okay, इसलिए मुझे अभी याद आ गया. This IC 8259 is a programmable interrupt controller. अगर ये एक IC आपने समझ ली और उसका इंटरफेसिंग समझ लिया, you can interface any IC, you can interface any circuit with 8085 or 8086. Okay, the basic remains same. It is a 28 pin IC. It contains 8 interrupts, hardware interrupts. It can be operated in a single mode, single इसे यूज कर सकते हो, or else it can be also operated in cascaded mode. What is cascading? What is cascading? More than one. Okay, we'll see the concept of master and slave. आपने बहुत किसी मीडियम में भी ये यूज किया होगा, किसी सब्जेक्ट में भी यूज किया होगा. Okay, master and slave. What is the purpose of master? What is the purpose of slave? Say networking में to a device. Networking is not yet.
Networking है. So subject है आज के but our topic master and
so it can be either operated as a single IC or in cascading. Cascading means more than one. Okay. Is it okay till here? Anyone any issues? As the name implies, it is an interrupt controller. Any interrupt आएगा उसे control करेगा, but it is programmable. This makes a difference. It is programmable interrupt controller. Programmable यानी as per your wish or as per programmer wish, this IC can be here.
yes.
What can be the wish of programmer? What can be the wish of programmer as far as interrupts are concerned? In the selection of? Yes, very good. In selection of priority. Good. Man? और किस किस तरीके से आप प्रोग्रामिंग कर सकते हो इंटरप्ट कंट्रोलर की? What all things you want? Priority, masking, you want some interrupts to be masked, you want some interrupts to be non-masked. Is it okay? Triggering, can this be programmed? For interrupt controller, yes. For processor, hardware interrupt, no. Processor का hardware interrupt, if I would say, you just program RST 5.5 to be edge trigger, it cannot be done. Okay, it will be level trigger, but here the interrupts triggering can be set. Either the interrupt can be level triggered or edge triggered. Is it okay? Any issues here, anyone? And the last is vector address. Vector address. What is this vector address? Which address? Which address? The address of ISR. Okay. Even you can set the address of ISR here. What was the address of ISR? Hardware interrupt rate? 00? Can this be set? If I say I want trap at 002C, it is not possible to set. But here, you can set the vector address of the interrupt you want. So these four features are at the assistance of programmer. Programmer can set priority, programmer can set masking, programmer can set triggering, and programmer can set vector addresses of each instruction. Is it okay? Any issues here? Anyone in here? Now, if I say, if I do a simple IC 8259, it contains IR0 to IR7 as interrupt pins, input pin, which can be either set as a level trigger or as a edge trigger. So, this is level trigger. Sign shows it will change on level. This is edge trigger. On edge, it will change. Is it okay?
Yes.
There is an output pin.
Yes.
INT. Okay, यहाँ तक समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
There will be supply VCC. There will be supply ground. There is an address line A0. Why only A0? We'll see. There is a data lines
D0 to D7.
D0 to D7 or D0 to D7. There is a chip select pin.
CS.
SPO or EMP. Okay. Now, the default priority would be IR0, the highest, IR7, the lowest. If you do not program the interrupt as per your priority or as per the programmer's speed, it will be having IR0 as the highest priority and IR7 as the lowest priority. Okay? Consider there is an interrupt IR0. What it will do? It will transfer this interrupt request to this pin, which will interrupt the processor to INT R. Sorry, INT R, not INT R. ओके, एक बिजी इंटरप्ट कंट्रोलर में INTR इंटरप्ट रिक्वेस्ट to this pin, to this input pin, this INT will be connected. Any issues anyone till here?
No, sir.
There was a pin which is said as an interrupt acknowledgement, interrupt request acknowledgement, INT A bar. this speed, INT A bar will be connected. Is it okay?
Yes.
So what will it do? If there is an interrupt IR3, that interrupt will be moving to INT bar. INT bar will give interrupt request. Once interrupt request is received, it will switch over, it will give a acknowledgement, which is interrupt acknowledgement. Once interrupt acknowledgement is provided, it will, the ISR belonging to IR3 will be executed. Is it okay? Yes or no?
So why IR3 will be executed?
Because IR3 is provided.
Sir, so interrupt comes from IR0.
IR0 to IR7, if I provide IR3 interrupt,
Acknowledge path to interrupt.
in a related ISR execute this. Consider IR0 is provided as an interrupt. What will happen is the same thing, interrupt pin will be 1, which will make interrupt request available here. The interrupt request once received, it will be acknowledged by interrupt acknowledgement bar. It will be 0.
Yes.
Making it 0 enables the acknowledgement. Is it okay? Once acknowledgement is received and the interrupt is known to the processor IR0, what will happen is the interrupt service routine which is related to IR0 will be executed. Any issues? Any issues anyone?
No, sir.
I am missing a point which I want you to address. मैंने ये जो समझाया उसमें कुछ मिस किया है. That will check your level of attention and level of understanding. That's why हमने intentional. मैंने एक प्रोसेस समझाई आपको. यहाँ से एक इंटरप्ट मिला, इंटरप्ट रिक्वेस्ट यहाँ जनरेट हुई, इंटरप्ट एक्नॉलेज हुआ और ये जो इंटरप्ट मिला था उसके अकॉर्डिंग ISR एग्जीक्यूट हुआ. This is a process. There is some loopholes. There is some point which I deliberately missed out. क्योंकि जल्दी पता चलेगा आपको ये सही से समझ में आ रहा है या नहीं आ रहा है. But what I will do is, जैसे यहाँ पे जो मुझे समझाना है वही समझा होगा. अब यस 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 ऐसे ही करते रहो. You will not apply this. यहाँ पर मैंने इंटरप्ट दिया, इंटरप्ट रिक्वेस्ट जनरेट हुई, इंटरप्ट एक्नॉलेज हुआ और ये जो इंटरप्ट था उसका ISR एग्जीक्यूट हुआ. How is it possible? How is it possible? पहले प्रोसेसर को कैसे पता चलेगा अब मैंने IR0 ही लिया है. Processor is having INT request, but which interrupt is provided? How the processor is knowing? Secondly, whether the interrupt is masked or not. Is the processor checking the same? In my case, एक तो प्रोसेसर को वो नहीं पता है कि मुझे कौन सा इंटरप्ट मिला है IR0 या IR7 में से. उसे तो सिर्फ INTR पिन पे एक हाई सिग्नल मिला है. दैट मींस देयर इज अ इंटरप्ट, बट कौन सा इंटरप्ट है वो पता नहीं है. अगर कौन सा इंटरप्ट है वो पता नहीं है तो कौन सा ISR एग्जीक्यूट करना है वो कैसे पता चलेगा प्रोसेसर? यस और नो?
Yes.
आप सोचो कैसे पता चलेगा प्रोसेसर को? Because if you learn this not for the sake of examination, अगर सही से समझा आपने, आप कोई भी सर्किट कोई भी प्रोसेसर के साथ इंटरफेस कर सकते हैं अगर सही से समझा. CS cascade, that is called cascade. CS. We are talking about a single. Here we are talking about a single. Into मैट्रिक्स. और जो तीन पिन है आप बोल रहे हो CS1, CS2, CS2, CS1 and CS0. This is therefore cascading. प्रोसेसर को आपको क्या बता देना है? एक तो ये कौन सा इंटरप्ट है, सेकेंड कि ये इंटरप्ट लेवल ट्रिगर्ड है या एज ट्रिगर्ड, थर्ड whether this interrupt is masked or not, fourth what is the priority of this interrupt, okay, and last the vector address of the interrupt. कौन सी चीज देनी है? प्रायोरिटी, मास्किंग, ट्रिगरिंग और एड्रेस, ये चार चीज आपको बतानी है प्रोसेसर को. एज अ प्रोग्रामर इट इज योर जॉब टू ascertain processor that this interrupt whatever is received here is which interrupt, IR0 to IR7, whether it is triggered, whether it is prioritized, whether it is having mask, whether it is like the vector address of that interrupt which is triggered or which is provided. How will you provide? How will you ask the processor or let the processor know that the interrupt request which is available at this pin of a processor is of this and these are its characteristics? Yes? You are not coding this. आप यहाँ पे कुछ रीड और राइट ऑपरेशन नहीं कर रहे हो यहाँ पे. Okay, you are not connecting the keyboard, you are writing a program, you are connecting this to a memory. No. This is a simple cheap PIC, programmable interrupt controller. What you are doing is you have the privilege to write a program for MUPI, you have the privilege to allow the MUPI to access memory location. तो आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? आपको प्रोग्राम में वो बताना पड़ेगा this is the interrupt, if it is available its vector address is this interrupt is edge triggered or level triggered, this interrupt is not masked or masked, whether this interrupt has a priority, highest, lowest or in between. Is it okay? So, as a programmer, what you want to do is you want to write a program in the memory. मेमोरी में एक प्रोग्राम लिखना है. ये प्रोग्राम जब प्रोसेसर एक्सेस करेगा तो प्रोसेसर को पता चल जाएगा what commands I want to provide, so as to initialize 8255. These are set as an initialization command words, ICW. Okay. After all, you are writing program in the memory which is accessible by microprocessor. So when the program is executed, the microprocessor will be knowing that these are initialization commands that the programmer wants, and microprocessor will initialize it to 8259 accordingly. Any issues? Then I'll ask a question. अगर इश्यू नहीं है, अगर इश्यू है तो पूछो. तो आप पूछोगे मैं जवाब दूंगा. अगर इश्यू नहीं है तो मैं पूछूंगा, आपको जवाब दूंगा. Yes? Repeat.
Yes, sir.
This is programmable interrupt controller. The program for the same would be written in a memory. The memory is accessible by microprocessor. So once this program in a microprocessor is executed, the microprocessor will initialize 8255 based on the program that you have written. Okay? और initialization में वो क्या करेगा? By read or write control signals, especially write control signals and data lines, it will transfer the command words. ये command words transfer करेगा. ओके? समझ में आया या नहीं?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Have a look here.
हाँ सर ड्रॉप કર્યા પછી
See, this is INT over here. On this side, it is INT only. यहाँ पे INTR है. Why? Because it is a request received. Okay, यहाँ पे तो input generated है, यानी उसकी मीन INT ही है. INT एक. हाँ. This is address bus. Address bus का requirement जो है? What is the requirement of address bus? प्रोग्राम जो लिखा है वो ट्रांसफर होना है. ये कौन सा प्रोग्राम? प्रोग्राम तो आपने मेमोरी में लिखा है. माइक्रो प्रोसेसर के साथ सिर्फ एक चिप कनेक्टेड नहीं है. There can be n numbers of chips connected. N numbers of input output device connected, so as to ascertain which device the microprocessor is communicating with, the addressing is required. Okay, processor इसी चिप के साथ कम्युनिकेट करे 8259 के लिए, तो उसका एक वेक्टर एड्रेस होगा और नॉट वेक्टर एड्रेस. This is said as a normal IO address. Okay, it will be 8-bit. It will be 8-bit address. There is a beam AO. There is a latch. A7, A1. There is a data bus D7 to D0. The processor with its system bus, not the internal bus, with its system bus is connected to 8259. The bus is drawn outside a processor as it is a system bus. Okay, तो अगर मैं internal इसकी address bus और processor का architecture ड्रॉ करता then for internal bus. This is a system bus. Okay, तो processor को आपने data bus से connect कर दिया. प्रोसेसर को आपने एड्रेस बस से कनेक्ट कर दिया. प्रोसेसर को आपने कंट्रोल सिग्नल्स, प्रोसेसर को आपने रीड बार, राइट. ओके, डेटा बस से कनेक्ट कर दिया, एड्रेस बस से कनेक्ट कर दिया और कंट्रोल बस से कनेक्ट कर दिया. रीड राइट एंड अगेन IOS. Is it okay? Any issues, anyone? Now based on the input output device, is this a memory? It is IO device. जब ये 1 होगा और जब राइट होगा प्रोग्राम, यानी this प्रोसेसर में से कुछ वर्ड इसमें जाएगा. Yes or no? The processor is writing something to the input or to the output device. Yes or no? अगर ये 1 है, ये राइट भी 1 है, and this is 0, and processor is reading something from 8 to 59. Is it okay? Are we writing something or reading something? What is something? 8-bit content. 8-bit content that will transfer through D7 to D6. And this is a bus which will allow the processor to provide ICW or initialization command words. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
There is another command which I said is the operational command words, OCW. Initialization command words are for initializing 8 to 59, whereas operational command words are after the processor has initialized the ICW. Initialization यानी तो starting में ही जब आप power on करोगे, it will be initialized. This is one program. Okay. But what is operational command words? When you are using the interface IC for your work, you will require command words which are used for operation. Okay. What is D7 and D0 for? For transferring initialization command words and operational command words. Is it okay? Yes. What defines or what controls reading or writing process? The control bus. IO obeying M bar, RD bar, WR bar. Any issues anyone? Here? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
But which input device out of 8 or out of 9 or out of 288, 277, 278, 2 raised to 8. Out of this many input output devices, which device is communicated, which device is to be controlled and which, from where the data is to be transferred or data is to be provided, that is initialized. Depends on address. Consider the address of this chip is 80. So पहले what will happen during initialization? Once the processor runs a program which is written in the memory, the processor will move to this address 80 input port. Okay? Once this is done, through input, output and RW bar, RD bar or WR bar, it will control the operation either reading or writing. Yes or no? And then there is no reading or writing, it will transfer our data. Any issues? अगर नहीं समझ में आया तो मुझे बता देना, क्योंकि जो नेक्स्ट इंटरफेस आईसी है which is 8255, ओके, प्रोग्रामेबल पेरिफेरल इंटरफेस, वो भी इसी तरह के से ही मुझे समझाना है. अगर ये समझ में नहीं आए तो वो भी नहीं समझ में आएगा. Is it okay? ये समझ में नहीं आया, समझा लो. Rest?
No, sir.
Anyone? Any issue? Yes. Thank you. इसके अलावा सब कुछ समझ में आ गया? Any issues, anyone?
No, sir.
I have no issues and no compulsion in repeating the entire topic if it is not understood. Okay? मैं पहले से भी समझाने के लिए रेडी होकर समझ में, अगर आपको समझना है सही से. Okay?
Yes, sir.
What is ICW? What is OCW? These are command words. Okay, ICW is initialization command words. OCW is operational command words. Command words की जरूरत क्या पड़ती है? This is something which can be programmed. This is something which can be programmed. प्रोग्राम कहाँ पे लिखोगे आप? मेमोरी में. इसको तो आप मेमोरी से कनेक्ट नहीं करते हो. Your memory is connected to the processor through control, through address and through data bus. Okay, memory से ये इंटरफेस है. मेमोरी इसके साथ कनेक्टेड है प्रोसेसर के साथ. तो आपने एक प्रोग्राम लिखा मेमोरी में. वो प्रोग्राम प्रोसेसर रीड करेगा. Based on the same, the processor will provide the commands for setting, priority, for masking, for triggering and for vectors. Okay, ये कमांड वर्ड्स है जो प्रोसेसर को पता करवाएंगे कि अगर ये इंटरप्ट यहाँ आता है तो मुझे कौन सा ऐसा एग्जीक्यूट करना है. इस इंटरप्ट यहाँ पे आया वो उसकी प्रायोरिटी क्या है, whether that interrupt is masked or not, whether that interrupt is triggered by level or edge. So these are command words which will get transferred from UP to 8259 for initializing, that is before start, and for operating, that is once it is initialized and you are providing the interrupt. Is it okay? Any issues, anyone?
No, sir.
Any issues, anyone? Here, till this, all good?
Yes, sir.
Now, अगर इतना समझ में आ गया तो 8255 की 59 की जगह 8255 कोई काउंटर, कोई टाइमर, कोई भी सर्किट आप इससे इंटरफेस कर सकते हो. कोई भी आईसी इससे आप इंटरफेस कर सकते हो. कंसीडर योर ट्रैफिक लाइट्स. You can interface the same with this. If you know this control connection, address connection and data connection and the program or command words required for initializing and operating the system. Now, I'll provide you what are ICWs and OCWs for 8259. This will be different for different circuits. Okay. इसके लिए ऐसे इनिशियलाइजेशन कमांड वर्ड्स और ऑपरेशन कमांड वर्ड्स मैं आपको समझाऊंगा, बट सभी सर्किट के लिए अलग अलग इनिशियलाइजेशन कमांड वर्ड्स और ऑपरेशनल कमांड वर्ड्स होते हैं. नाउ हाउ टू फिगर आउट दैट? बाय लुकिंग एट द डेटा शीट ऑफ दिस सर्किट. 8259 को आपको इंटरफेस करना है 8085 से. आपको पहले क्या करना पड़ेगा? यू हैव द आईसी, जस्ट टेक आउट इट्स डेटा शीट, its pin configuration and its operating phenomena. By what words or by what input it is initializing, by what input it is operating. Is it okay? Once it is done, you know the connection, you know the basic, and you know the programming here. आपको पता है मुझे क्या प्रोग्राम करना है. Consider, I say there is a initialization command words of 8-bit 55 to be transferred from UP to 8259, of which this UP is at 880 address. आपका 8259 80 एड्रेस पे है. आपको एक डेटा 55 माइक्रो प्रोसेसर से यहाँ ट्रांसफर करना है. What will you do? Which instruction you will use? Question समझ में आ गया? Your 8259 IC is at address 80. This is the input output address, not the memory address. Memory address it would have been 4 digits. Okay, ये IO address है. अगर कोई डिवाइस आपका 8259 IO address 80 पे है और आपको ये कमांड वर्ड यहाँ ट्रांसफर करना है. Command words are a combination of 8 bits only. Okay, hex में लिखूंगा तो 2 digits. What will you do? You will initialize accumulated with this word which you want to transfer, and then you will use out, which is the address 80. Simple. आपको जो वर्ड ट्रांसफर करना था वो आपने एक्यूमुलेटर में डाल दिया, then you use this word instruction out. Any issue, anywhere. Consider there is a reading operation. You want to read something instead of out. Here, it will not be using this. You will not be using this instruction. Why? Because the accumulator value will change. Whatever is being read from this device will be the value of accumulator. Is it okay? Any issues here? Tell this. Anyone? Now, shall I remove this?
Yes, sir.
आपको ये पता है चार चीज, क्योंकि ये जरूरत पड़ेगी अभी भी, SCW और OCW इनिशियलाइजेशन पता है? Yes. What is the default priority? Which one is highest priority and which one is at lowest priority?
IR0 is the highest,
IR0 is at highest priority. IR7 is at
lowest.
lowest priority. Now, if there is an interrupt, IR0 and IR7 provided to this interrupt controller 8 to 5 together. IR0 और IR7 दोनों एक साथ आपने प्रोवाइड किया. What will happen? The same logic that we discussed at the beginning of class.
Highest priority or
Highest priority will be served first. Is it okay? What if a moment after IR7 was provided, पहले IR7 provide किया और जब इसका IR7 चल रहा था तो भी आपने IR0 provide किया.
it will move into the
IR7 is provided. It will start for ISR of IR7. When it was getting executed, in between this,
Enter.
IR0 is provided. What will happen?
It will run. It will doing ISR of IR0.
It will execute ISR of.
IR0.
Is it okay? जब ये एग्जीक्यूशन चल रहा था, तभी आपने IR3 प्रोवाइड किया. What will happen?
First complete execution of IR0, then move into the IR0.
0 को कंप्लीट करेगा, फिर
IR3 पे जाएगा.
3 पे जाएगा या ISR 7 पे जाएगा?
3
Why
पे
3?
जाएगा. Highest priority.
Okay, good. Wait, 3 पे जाएगा. Okay. Consider during this, जब ये प्रोग्राम चल रहा था आपका ISR of IR0, तब IR3 भी आया, उसके थोड़ी देर बाद IR2 भी आया.
IR3 एग्जीक्यूशन होगा, फिर बीच में से IR2 चालू होगा, एग्जीक्यूट चालू होगा.
See, once IR7 ISR was about to complete, there was a IR1 जब स्टार्ट था, तभी इस इंस्टेंट पे IR3 और इस इंस्टेंट पे IR2. What will happen?
IR3 will stop and IR2 will be implemented.
So at this time it will begin the IR3, and
Yes.
during the time this IR2 is available, it will be moving to IR2.
Yes.
Is it okay? Then complete IR2, then complete IR3,
Yes,
then
then
complete
complete
IR0, and then complete IR7. Sorry, not 0.
0 is.
7. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Any issues here, anyone?
No.
ये प्रैक्टिस करना है लैब में। आपने सिर्फ एक ही आया 0 ही असाइन किया होगा ना? दिस एक्सपेरिमेंट, ये जो एक्सपेरिमेंट किया आपने लैब में, तो आपने सिर्फ IR 0 ही असाइन किया होगा। It was displaying health. Once you provided interrupt, it displayed IR 0. एक्सपेरिमेंट हो चुका है ना?
सर एक्सपेरिमेंट
I don't know the number. Even in the recording you can find, मैंने जो रिकॉर्ड किया था।
अहमद सर
सर ड्राइंग की जाती है
जो हुआ सर
Is it completed in the experiment session or the lab practical?
नो आइडिया
Then try this. At least 1 or 2 instances. आप पहले IR 7 अप्लाई कीजिए, फिर IR 0 अप्लाई कीजिए, फिर IR 1 अप्लाई कीजिए. But before that you need to study the program writing for this 8 to 5. प्रोग्राम आपको कहाँ लिखना है? मेमोरी में. तो प्रोग्राम कैसे लिखना है इसके लिए वो समझना जरूरी है. प्रोग्राम के इंस्ट्रक्शंस तो आपने जो स्टडी किया वही रहने वाले हैं. But what will change is it okay? Is it all right? Now another thing which I want to make it clear. चलो इतना समझ में आ गया ICW और OCW.
यस
ये क्या है? कमांड वर्ड्स है जो प्रोसेसर 8 to 59 को देगा. There is something which the processor, these are writing operation. Why? Because processor is providing something to the 8 to 59. Is there something which 8 to 5 that the processor wants from 8 to 59? प्रोसेसर को 8 to 59 में से कुछ चाहिए? Yes. Where is the vector address? Where is the vector address? The address of ISR of the interrupt. IR 0 या IR 7 कोई भी आया तो प्रोसेसर को कहाँ जंप होना है वो वेक्टर एड्रेस कौन देगा? It will be written in the program, but the processor will provide it to 8 to 59 first. During interrupt acknowledgement when it provides, the processor ascertains which interrupt it is and what is its address, vector address, or address of ISR. Through data bus, the processor will read that address. Though it is written here in the memory, through ICW, it will be transferred to 8259. During execution, 8259 will be having the vector addresses of each of the interrupt. और जब कोई interrupt यहाँ पे आएगा, तो जब ये interrupt request submit करेगा और interrupt acknowledgement यहाँ पे मिलेगा, it will have a 3 cycles. In one cycle, it will know which interrupt it is. In the rest two, it will transfer that address of 16-bit, the lower byte first and upper byte last. Okay. For that, you need to understand if you have a IC, and if I define this as a 2, this is a 2. Okay. And if I say the lines or the location of ISR would be of either 4 lines or 8 lines. मैंने सिर्फ प्रोसेसर को एक एड्रेस दिया और उसे कह दिया कि हर एक जो इंटरप्ट है वो 4-4 लाइन का ISR 4-4 लाइन का होना चाहिए. 2 0 2 3 4 5 will be for IR0. The starting address of IR1 would be the starting address of IR2 would be not 2010. IR3 would be A, B, C, D. Okay, and so on. So processor को जब आप initialize करते हो, what you are sending is you are sending the starting address and the bits. तो vector address मिल गया. Consider IR2 is provided by the user as an interrupt. तो प्रोसेसर को पता है, सॉरी 8259 को पता है कि दिस इज IR2 इंटरप्ट और मुझे ये ISR जो 200 A पे है वो मुझे एग्जीक्यूट करना है. इज इट ओके? सो ड्यूरिंग दिस 3 it will transfer 0A, during second it will transfer 0A and during last it will transfer 2 0. जब इंटरप्ट मिला आपको प्रोसेसर को इंटरप्ट एक्नॉलेजमेंट के साथ ही it has got through the data lines it has got first 0A and then 2 0. तो प्रोसेसर को पता चल गया कि I want to move to this 200 है. प्रोसेसर क्या करेगा? It will be just like calling. It will execute the ISR without the guide. Is it okay? Yes or no?
सर
प्रैक्टिकल में मैं ये पूछूंगा कि IR0 सॉरी प्रैक्टिकल नहीं एग्जाम में मैंने कोई इंटरप्ट दिया है, अगर उससे लोअर प्रायोरिटी इंटरप्ट आता है तो क्या होता है, हायर प्रायोरिटी इंटरप्ट आता है तो क्या होता है?
ओके सर.
इट शुड बी क्लियर. सॉरी इट शुड बी क्लियर. यस
4 lines and 8 lines also તો એક મિનિટ.
જ્યારે આપણે ICW ડિસ્કસ કરશું ને ત્યારે ખબર પડી જશે. એક તમે સ્ટાર્ટિંગ એડ્રેસ આપો છો, બીજું તમે એ કહો છો કે 4 લાઈન થી ડિફર થાય છે કે 8 લાઈન થી ડિફર થાય છે.
ઓકે.
ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ 2002 તમે સ્ટાર્ટિંગ એડ્રેસ આપ્યું અને એવું કીધું કે 4 લાઇન્સ થી ડિફર થાય છે, એટલે આ સ્ટાર્ટિંગ એડ્રેસ આનું હોય તો એની પછીનું બધું 4 લાઇન પછીનું નેક્સ્ટ ઇનપુટનું સ્ટાર્ટિંગ એડ્રેસ હોય. તો પ્રોસેસરને તમે ખાલી આપ્યું શું તો કે એક સ્ટાર્ટિંગ એડ્રેસ અને એક એનું ડિજિટ કે 4 લાઇન કે 8 લાઇન. સિમ્પલ. Now there are 4 ICWs. प्रोसेसर के अंदर 4 ICWs है और 3 OCWs for 8 to 5 specifically. It depends on the circuit which is to be interfaced. Okay. ICW1, ICW2, these are compulsory. These are compulsory. ICW3 will be different for master and will be different for slave. Is it okay? There is another word which is optional, which is ICW4, that determines the mode of different operations of 8 to 5. Okay? 8 to 5 के अलग अलग मोड है ऑपरेशन के, जैसे ऑटो रोटेशन, स्पेसिफिक रोटेशन, POI mode, fully nested mode, special fully nested mode. Okay, we will not go deep into the same, क्योंकि ये समझ नहीं जाएंगे तो अभी जो समझाएगा सब कुछ भूल जाएगा. Why? Because it is so much like you need to be actually implementing each and every program, then you can understand what it is. Okay, एक polling mode भी है. That's 5 different modes. Like a special mask mode, SMM mode. Okay. But after all, इन सब में चेंज क्या होता है? प्रायोरिटी, मास्किंग, वेक्टर एड्रेस और ट्रिगरिंग.
ठीक है.
और कुछ नहीं. ये 4 चीज ही है जो आप चेंज करते हो और इतने मोड्स आपको मिलते हैं. Is it okay? Now, OCW. Then this OCW1, OCW2, and OCW3. Let's define each one. Okay, if we say ICW1, it has Can you believe which one is? जब आईसी आप रिफर करोगे उसके अंदर ही आपको बता दिया जाएगा कि इसको इनिशियलाइज करने के लिए आपको ये चाहिए, इसको ऑपरेट करने के लिए आपको ये चाहिए, बट क्या है वो समझ लो. It will not be a part of your paper even, but as it is in your curriculum I need to explain. Okay? तो इसको मकअप करने की जरूरत नहीं कि D7 बिट पे यही होना चाहिए या D0 बिट पे यही होना चाहिए, मुझे भी याद नहीं. Okay, because it is something which is easily available. Okay. Now, what is ICW? This initialization command word. What will it contain? It will contain as a D0 bit. If it is 1, it is IC4. अगर ये 1 है तो IC4 की जरूरत है, ICW4 की जरूरत है. अगर ये 0 है तो ICW4 की जरूरत नहीं. Is it okay? See, initialization command words में हमने देखा ICW1 and 2 are compulsory. ICW3 is for master and slave, different. It is in a cascaded form. ICW4 is optional. हमने देखा था कि I have shown you optional. Who determines it as the optional? ICW1. Is it okay? This is single, D1 bit, single or cascaded. If it is 1, it will be considered as a single master. यानी एक ही चीज. If it is in a cascade mode, यहाँ पे 0 होगा. Cascade यानी आप more than 1 8259 यूज कर रहे हो, दिस सेट इज अ कास्केड wherein one would be the master and other would be slave. किसे आप मास्टर कहोगे? जो इंटरप्ट डायरेक्टली प्रोसेसर को दे रहा है, दिस सेट इज अ मास्टर, और जो इंटरप्ट थ्रू मास्टर 8085 को दे रहा है वो है स्लेव. इज इट ओके? दिस इज ADI, the thing that we discussed, lines 4 और 8. अगर यहाँ पे 1 है तो इट इज 4, अगर 0 है तो 8. कितने डिफरेंस होना चाहिए टू एड्रेस के बीच? इट इज डिफाइंड बाय ICW1 ADI. ओके, देन LT और ET, एज ट्रिगर्ड और लेवल ट्रिगर्ड. इफ इट इज 1, लेवल ट्रिगर्ड. इफ इट इज 0, एज ट्रिगर्ड. इज इट ओके? यस और नो?
1 मीन्स क्या?
क्या?
1 मीन्स
1 means edge trigger. Sorry, 1 means level trigger. 0 means edge trigger. Okay. This is a definite bit which is set as a 1 default. Okay. What is this? A7, A6, A5.
एड्रेस.
This is for initializing interrupts. Interrupts कितने आपके? 8. Input कितने? 2:3. If there are 3 addresses 000, 001 till 111, total 8 combinations possible. तो ये 000 है and it is said as a edge trigger. तो IR0 is edge trigger. अगर ये 111 है, it is said as a level trigger. IR1 is or whatever interrupt is level trigger. Is it okay? This is how this ICW1 is a must command. ये आपको देना ही देना है. Similarly, ICW2. This is for the address of ISR. ISR address क्या होगा? 8 bit. Okay, 8 bit would be the address of ISR, और 16 bit क्या होगा? मैं बोलता हूँ आप हाँ भी कह देते हो. What is ISR? It is interrupt service routine. It is a program. Program कहाँ पे लिखा होगा? मेमोरी में.
Memory.
मेमोरी का एड्रेस कितना है?
600.
So ICW will make sure the addressing of ISR, initial address. Okay. ICW3 for master and for slave. For master, it will determine which is the slave. अगर S7 पे 1 है, तो मास्टर को ये लगेगा कि मेरी जो IR7 पिन है, वहाँ पे कोई स्लेव कनेक्टेड है. अगर S1 पे 1 है, तो IR1 पे कोई स्लेव कनेक्टेड है, कोई दूसरी 8259 चिप है. Is it okay? Any issues here?
No sir.
For a slave, it will be having a slave ID. कितने स्लेव्स कनेक्ट हो सकते हैं इस मास्टर के साथ?
CO0.
इस मास्टर के साथ कितने स्लेव्स कनेक्ट हो सकते हैं? 8. So if you provide 3 bits 000 to 1111, okay, 000 to 111, कितने combinations हुए? 8. Based on the same, all the slaves will be having their slaves ID. Slave 0, slave 8, or slave 1, 2 slave 8, whatever it is. Okay, आप नंबर किस तरीके से लेंगे? ये जो होगा, it will be the slave which is connected to IR0, and this will be the slave connected to the IR7. Is it okay? Any issues? ICW is different for master and slave. Why? Because it initializes master. कि master को पता है मेरे पास कौन से slave connected है. Okay? और ये slave को देता है कि this is your ID. Your ID is 000. Consider you have 1 master and 8 slave. Total 9 chip है. कितने इंटरप्ट्स हो गए? कितने इंटरप्ट्स हो गए? 8 क्रॉस 8 64.
64 yes.
64 इंटरप्ट में से सेकंड मास्टर की 7th पिन, सॉरी सेकंड स्लेव की 7th पिन में इंटरप्ट जनरेट हुआ है. If the master is not knowing how many slaves are connected, and if slave is not knowing its ID, it will not be possible for a processor to ascertain that this is the interrupt and the ISR for this interrupt is this. Is it okay? Is it all right? Okay, तो ये दोनों के लिए देना जरूरी है. Initialization command word for master and initialization command word for slave. These are operating command words. Okay, ICW4 is for selecting different modes. This is automatic UI, buffer mode, SFM mode or M/S, which is again a mode of selection. This is new pin. यहाँ पे अगर 1 है तो 8085 नहीं है, 1 है तो 8085 है और 0 है तो 8086. This can be configured with 8085 or 8086. Is it okay? Any issues till here? Now, operation command words. It will ascertain the masking. जिसपे 1 है, it is master. जो interrupt 1 है, it is master. Is it okay? For a single. For master and slave combination, it will be defined for each slave. It will be defined for each slave. तो slave में जो 8 pins होगी हर एक slave में, वो कौन सी pin master will be determined by OCW1. Okay. Again, OCW2 and OCW3 are for specific mode, either polling or special mask mode or reading the registers for specific UI. Any issues here, anyone?
Sir, OCW 1 2 3 4
OCW1 is for setting masks.
setting modes.
It will be for everything. जो भी मास्टर है उसके लिए भी डिफाइन होगा और जो स्लेव है उसके लिए भी डिफाइन होगा. Is it okay? Because each master one slave is having 8 pins. 0 to 7.
Yes.
OCW and OCW2 and OCW3 are for setting the modes of different modes of 8259 operating modes. Okay. कौन कौन से ऑपरेटिंग मोड हो सकते हैं? तो एक तो आप प्रायोरिटी रोटेट करो, आप स्पेसिफिक प्रायोरिटी दे दो. दैट IR7 in a default is the lowest priority. I want to provide it as the highest priority. It can be done. Okay. You set end of interrupt mask. You set a polling operation. Polling यानी it will poll. It will what? It will give the command to the processor, or it will give the command to other device. Okay. We will not discuss much on the operating modes of 8259, but as far as interfacing is concerned, you require both this ICW and OCW for initial and operating. Is it okay? क्योंकि ये अगर operating mode मुझे समझाना है, I need 2 hours, at least 2 hours. Okay. Is it all right? Do not worry. The next class we will meet, we will discuss the interfacing of 8255. But if it is known to you 8259 interfacing concept, आपको और कुछ नहीं करना है. 8255 यहाँ पे रिप्लेस कर दीजिए, उसके ICW और OCW समझ लीजिए. बाकी लॉजिक सब कुछ सेम ही है. प्रोग्राम आप मेमोरी में ही लिखोगे, वो प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूट होगा, वो प्रोग्राम डेटा बस से ट्रांसफर होगा यहाँ पे एट द एड्रेस ऑफ इनपुट आउटपुट डिवाइस, controlled by control signals, and the command should be returned to the 8258. So right? Is it okay?
Yes sir.
इसमें से कौन है जो यहाँ पे सिर्फ अटेंडेंस के लिए है? ये तो असाइनमेंट है, बाकी है ना, बाकी स्पेसिफिक प्रोग्राम
सर असाइनमेंट में सर
असाइनमेंट प्रैक्टिस ना
सर तो एज सुन एज पॉसिबल अपलोड कर देते हो. આ વીક એક જ વીક છે સર. અને પોલિંગ મીન્સ શું બોલ્યા તમે? પોલિંગ મીન્સ
polling is providing the response of microcontrollers and other device. Roll number 39. Yes. 19. 18. 16. 21. 21. 26. 28. 43.